Hello and welcome to The Bridge, the TV show that features happenings across the Woodbridge Township School District. I'm your host, Darren Soretto. Well, things certainly have changed around the Woodbridge Township School District since our last episode. As you know, schools throughout New Jersey are closed to stop the spread of COVID-19, and the Woodbridge Township School District has transitioned completely to remote instruction. Our hearts go out to those who are suffering during this difficult time, but we are so thankful for all the heroes who are helping us. We know that we will get through this together. So I'm coming to you from my home right now, but throughout the district there are so many great things going on in remote learning that we couldn't pass up the opportunity to do a distance learning episode. Today's lineup will feature a Zoom interview with Assistant Superintendent John Bader and Supervisor Christopher Callahan. Then we will feature reflections on distance learning by our Journalism 3 student correspondents and a montage of distance learning highlights. In sports, we'll meet a state champion wrestler from Colonia High School. And finally, our music segment will feature two elementary music teachers who are stepping up the distance learning game with some original instructional videos. It's a full show, but before we welcome our first guest, we always like to feature student artwork. Our artwork today comes from the gifted and talented visual art classes taught by Ms. Mazzio. The first piece is by 8th grader Shreya Petrevu from Avenel Middle School. Middle school G&T students studied the work of Alexander Calder, including his mobiles, contour drawings, wire sculptures, and large outdoor sculptures. For this assignment, students were asked to draw one of the mobiles or large outdoor sculptures in color. Shreya chose a large outdoor sculpture. I really like the way Shreya used bold colors and showed detail with her shading. She really makes the sculpture come to life. Our second piece is by Aliyah Latif, a 4th grader from School 26. Based on Matisse's Red Room, or Harmony in Red, elementary G&T students were asked to draw themselves in the room where they do their schoolwork during distance learning. Like Matisse, they used a limited color palette of their own choosing. I love how this assignment combined the art history of a Matisse study with our current distance learning experience. And I think Aliyah really did a great job exploring shades of blue. This is a great illustration to look back on someday as we remember this unique time in our lives. Thank you, Shreya and Aliyah, for sharing your talent and creativity. Remember, be creative and submit your own artwork through your art teacher. Your work could be featured on the next episode of The Bridge. Now, a quick break, and then we'll be right back with the interview. Welcome back to The Bridge. You're here with Darren Soretto, and I am welcoming Assistant Superintendent John Bader and Supervisor Christopher Callahan for an in-depth Zoom interview. Watch this. Welcome to The Bridge. I'm Darren Soretto, coming to you today from my house to yours, and hoping that your loved ones are staying healthy and safe during this pandemic. Today, I have a good friend on with me, remotely, of course, who I went to grad school with. He was my principal at School 9 for 11 years, and I'm very happy to finally welcome him to the show. I think this is our 10th or 11th episode, so I'm so glad he could finally make it to our show. Our Woodbridge Township School District Assistant Superintendent for Curriculum and Instruction, John Bader. Welcome, John.
Thank you so much, Darren. It's feels so good to be back with a good old friend, buddy.
Yes, even if we're distant, we're still together, brother. I also want to welcome a special welcome to our Woodbridge Township School District Supervisor of Technology, who's making this recording possible, and he seems to just get on these shows all the time. We don't know how, but let's welcome Christopher Callahan. How you doing, Chris?
Hello, Darren. Hello, John. Welcome, everybody. Love being on the show. There's any chance for me to get on the show? I'm coming on.
I'm so glad to have you, Chris. Thanks for making this possible.
You are welcome.
John, I just want to, before we get started on questions, I want to say that, you're the reason we have this show. This was your brainchild so many years ago, and here we are highlighting how our exceptional school district is taking on a giant with the strength of community and cooperation. So thank you for making this possible.
Darren, thank you very much. I'm so glad that you are the face of this program because, you exemplify the heart of the district, buddy. The work you have done with first graders is at school number 9 in your career, how you have touched other people's lives, how you help other people in and out of the classroom. You are an amazing person. So I'm glad that you're at the helm, buddy.
Thank you, John. That's so nice. And I learned from the best, buddy. So thank you. So, all right, John, let's get started. No one really knew that this COVID-19 situation would evolve as it did, making distance learning necessary. But do you think that our district was at all prepared for the situation beforehand? And if so, how?
Darren, I think, and again, through Dr. Zega's leadership, he's very level-headed. He's very smart person. And we were in preparations to be out for a while. We had talked with a lot of people, and, I guess you could kind of see from Italy and other places that the likelihood of something bad happening here was pretty likely.
Mm-hmm.
So we had planned and asked teachers to put together 2 weeks of remote learning activities.
Right.
And the situation has been a lot more serious, and we're out much longer term.
Sure.
So it has definitely evolved.
Yeah. And I love hearing, as you said, Dr. Zega, he's in touch with everybody weekly, and his videos are, they're comforting, knowing, that things are working well in the district. And so it's great that he's communicating with us.
Absolutely.
Great. So when the time came, how do you think that initial transition went? Like, how do you feel that when we knew we were staying home, how do you think it worked out?
Well, it worked out really well, Dar. I think better than anybody anticipated. And I have to commend my buddy, Mr. Callahan, because the job that he did is nothing short of amazing. To be able to, and again, we really didn't know how long it was going to be. So knowing that this was kind of open-ended when we left, it was important to try to get a device and also internet access for every student.
Mm-hmm.
We have a 1-to-1 in grades 8 to 12, so that was pretty easy transition. But Mr. Callahan connected with the principals and was able to provide a hotspot and a Chromebook to any student in grades K to 7 who needed it. So that was remarkable. And again,
wow.
The principal and Mr. Callahan leadership putting that together.
Thank you, Mr. Callahan. How did you do it?
Thank you. But John's being very modest there. It's also, I took my direction from him and Dr. Zega. We were able to, with their help, we got the hotspots for all the students, devices, everybody working together. It wasn't just myself. It's a whole team effort. Every single school, every single teacher, all together. And I think I'm very proud of what Woodbridge has done and what the teachers have done, and also what the parents have done, because the parents also have had a big say in this as well. So it's everyone working together. Thank you.
Thank you, Christopher. And I have to say, as a teacher, we were a little nervous, obviously, of how everything was going to go. And but the resources and the training that were made available immediately were so helpful. Can you just touch on what those were for the teachers and the parents and the families?
We talked very early about the fact that we're a really big district, as you know, and I think that's a really big strength for us because we have so many teachers who are extraordinary at and really proficient at a very wide range of skills and technology included. So we were able to tap into some really advanced tech teachers at the elementary, middle, and high school level, and those teachers set up through Mr. Callahan's leadership professional development call-ins. So as we kind of migrated away from traditional, more paper-based activities, we knew that the teachers were going to need to look at and really have support in taking more risks and using different platforms and communicating with kids in different ways. So that was really well attended. And we also had the supervisors do another round of online professional development. And again, everything was was voluntary. So if you had time, I know a lot of people were overwhelmed, and that continues to be true. But we are trying to, and we're going to continue to provide supports for teachers to access and get help and try new things. And I'll let Mr. Callahan kind of talk a little bit about the tech part of it. And we even had a parent call for technology too. So
Yes.
Awesome.
Right. Mr. Bader, you did say that. And what we did have was 2 calls for elementary, 2 calls for middle school, and 2 calls for high school. And for those people that you said, Mr. Bader, that didn't have a chance to get on those calls, we recorded them. We have a website for each level that teachers can go to when they have a chance. You know, it may not be this week. It may be, you know, in 2 weeks or 3 weeks or whenever it is, and they want to remember something or try to take a look at a certain technology. They have the resources available from those teams. And I was really proud of the fact that we did that about 8 days after we started going into distance learning. I think it was a tremendous, again, with Mr. Bader and Dr. Zega's leadership. You know, it was a tremendous undertaking, and I think we were very successful in that. Hit it out of the park, if I may use a sports term, with no sports going on right now.
Yeah, since we don't have any sports, we'll take it. That's great. And I appreciate as a teacher, those conferences were great and helpful because it showed us different platforms we could use, different websites to use. And I know the families appreciate it. You know, as you said, Chris, they become teachers overnight, and they needed guidance as much as we did for this. So thank you for offering those ideas that we could turn over to the parents and the kids. It was great. So John, now what challenges do we still need to overcome to make learning successful in the coming weeks?
Well, Dar, this week we had a discussion. We had a call with the union leaders of our district, and while we did a parent survey, and the parent survey was very very positive and very complimentary of the distance learning that we're doing.
Mm-hmm.
We also wanted to do a teacher survey. So the teacher survey went out this week, and we're going to use that to kind of plan future professional development, to give teachers more tools, to give teachers more training, that anything that they need to help them continue the great work that they're doing. The parent survey that we did it had over 1,000 pages of comments, and I read through all the pages, and it was really interesting to hear their comments, and a lot of it was vast majority positive, and there was some constructive criticism.
Sure.
And a few things that we've already addressed was workload. So we tried to find a balance in workload.
Mm-hmm.
As Dr. Zega said, we shouldn't think about this as completely doing everything we do under the normal circumstances into an online learning situation. Mm-hmm. It is different, and we have to be cognizant of that fact. And the other things were, parents were asking for a wider range of time to do assignments. So to put them in really early or the night before, and make them do not at the end of the school day, but make them do maybe at 10 o'clock or midnight,
Mm-hmm.
the case may be. And the other one was actually seeing their teacher, and seeing their face. And that one, as you know, Darren, because I've seen the magic you do with the kids in your classroom. That's when the magic happens. That's the relationship, the personal support. We can never replace that, in an online format. But so given that, we've been having principal meetings. I've been talking with the principals, and again, we don't want to make any more stress for anybody because this is a crisis, but we do want to bring the information to the teachers that this is a request by kids and parents. I think it's just a continual evolution, and I really do think it's going to get better and better. And even when we go back, hopefully soon, to normal schooling, I think what we learned in this process is going to help us become better educators. And as Chris said before, parents are really much more involved in the education process now. And we really respect what they do. And I think they respect greatly what we do too. So I think we all never worked so closely together, and maybe we're going to work more closely together in the future.
Great point, John. That's great. And I can say from my own experience that, the kids love seeing each other. I try and do a Zoom call every day just for the kids to see each other when we have some sort of theme to it, whether they're showing their artwork or showing right, or show and tell. And I know Patty's going to really enjoy seeing the kids, and they'll all be so excited to see each other. It's a blessing to have the technology to do that. And yeah, the YouTube videos is a great idea too. Some lessons and kind of teach remotely. And so yeah, it's really that we can do that. And also, as you said, flexibility is so important. My son, I know, is getting a lot of work, and we have to be flexible as when it's going to be done. And, because everyone's got their own situation at home and they're trying to deal with it. And so being flexible, I think, is important for the parents. So I think it's great that they can hear that that's what we're doing in Woodbridge Town.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And then really the last question you kind of just answered, which is how does this experience, how's it impacting us as educators and as human beings? And I think the impact on our kids we're going to see is going to be tremendous, I think, as well as on our educators. Is there anything else you want to say on that?
Absolutely, Darren. I mean, again, I think it really just teaches us to reprioritize our lives and how precious life is, how lucky we are, to be currently healthy. Again, I pray for everyone in the district and their families that we're going to get through this health and be able to recover and and be better, stronger, because we have to go through this. A couple things I wanted to mention really quick. Again, Mr. Callahan's leadership for that. In preparation for this, I don't think this is stuff that we could prepare for in a week or even during this time, but this has been a long time in preparation. Like we, through Mr. Callahan and Dr. Zega and the board, we've given teachers mobile devices. I think we started that 6 years ago. A lot of training. We have Tech Academy every year. We have Ed Camp Blitz. We have the PD days. And that, I think that just sharing of ideas back and forth and, and seeing teachers in our district who have this unbelievable skill level. I'm going to shout out Courtney Murgatroyd, just an example. And we have so many other people, but maybe Chris, you could run off the list of all the teachers, tech leaders who helped us. But when we have people like that who can and are willing to help others, it's a very, very powerful thing. One thing, and I wanted to go back to your other question, Darren, a couple challenges that we're working on right now, and I hope that we could do something, is the end of the year celebrations, things like extracurricular activities. We want to give the kids as much as we can. And my heart goes out especially to seniors and 8th graders and 5th graders and spring sports athletes who are upperclassmen, because, they're missing out on a lot. So as much as we can, we want to brainstorm ideas on maybe we could have the prom a little bit later. Maybe we could have a virtual ceremony. Coming up this month, we usually do Evening with Young Poets, which is a poetry celebration, and we showcase the kids at Barron Arts Center. So I've talked to Sarah DeRollo and Laura Calabrese, and we're thinking about continuing to do it. And we'll do it in a Zoom call, and we'll have the kids submit through their teachers some great poetry, and we could honor the students. We still can honor the students. So we're brainstorming, and now that we've kind of, I think, have done a good job with the education part, we want to continue and try to stretch ourselves as far as we can to give the kids the full experience that they deserve.
That's great, John. I think parents and families would love to hear that and know that, these special moments we can still celebrate in the future. And, and I think what's neat is how families are doing that creatively already. We just had our local middle school just had the teachers driving by, honking to the kids and waving to them. And, all these different kind of celebrations they can still do just in a more creative way for now. But the future holds a lot of promise for the things they love, which is great. Well, John, I can't thank you enough for coming on and sharing the amazing, exceptional job that the Woodbridge Township School District is doing for the teachers, for the families, and for everybody. And, I just want to send from my family to yours my best. And I look forward to when we can meet again. And maybe we can even have like a little wiffle ball reunion. I think that'd be pretty cool.
First, I'm giving you a hug there. Then we're gonna do. Then I'll pitch wiffle balls to you. How's that sound?
And Chris, I want to thank you for coming on and making this possible. And again, thank you. We couldn't do any of this without technology. So thank you for being a major part of this and keeping people connected in a time when we can't be together.
You're welcome, Darren, but it's my pleasure. I actually, as you can tell, I love my job. Don't tell anybody, but I would almost do it for free.
Well, thank you. You even know how to control the mute button when my dog wouldn't stop barking. So thank you for that. I appreciate it.
I gotta just give one more thank you to Mr. Callahan and the supervisory staff, to the teachers, there, everybody being creative, to the parents for doing so much at home, and for the kids for being so resilient. And they're so good. They're so good. They roll with everything, and we appreciate that. We're proud of them, and I'm honored to be a part of it.
But stay tuned. We'll be right back with our featured distance learning segment. That Zoom interview was a lot of fun. You never know what's going to happen live, right? Well, this year we have had some amazing Journalism 3 students working as student correspondents for the Bridge. And although we are not able to have them on site, we wanted to check in and to get their thoughts on distance learning. Let's hear what they have to say.
We're in my classroom, as you want to call it, aka my bedroom, because for the past 4 weeks or so, we've been stuck at home doing distance learning, which, needless to say, has been very interesting. Definitely helpful in the sense that I am going to college next year, so now I have time to, go at things at my own pace, and it's helping me realize that, next year I'm not going to have a teacher hold my hand and be like, all right, this work needs to be done now. It's up to me. It's my responsibility. So needless to say, that's nice. However, I do miss my friends. I miss my teachers. I miss school. Never thought I would say that.
I feel distance learning really changed me as a student. I procrastinate a lot more than I usually would have. I miss the social aspect of school. I miss seeing my friends in class. I miss seeing my teachers and having that interaction. That's like what makes learning fun for me. Now I feel like learning is very boring, and I procrastinate more because I don't want to do it.
I think that distance learning is going very well, but it could be a little bit better. For starters, I think that the Zoom app should be used more in classes. I find it very helpful when teachers use Zoom. They have optional meetings for extra help for students. I think it's very helpful, so I think it should be implemented more into the daily routine. And I also think that a survey should be sent out to students asking them about their thoughts on distance learning and how to make it better.
My favorite parts of distance learning is the fact that I get to work at my own pace and I don't really have to follow a schedule like I would in school. However, my least favorite part and the thing I miss the most about going to school is that I don't get the interactions with my teachers or my fellow classmates.
of distance learning are you're able to focus better and study at your own pace rather than rushing through an assignment with a class. However, the cons are that you're not able to interact with others and discuss your ideas together, and you're easily distracted at home rather than when you're at school.
Ever since distance learning, the one thing that I really missed the most was making new memories at school every single day that I would not be able to make at home. And I really miss that experience a lot.
What's up, everybody? Just wanted to reach out to you guys, and I hope you're doing well. Been praying for everybody in this whole situation. It's tough, not gonna lie to you. This coronavirus, it is very serious. And we all need to come together because that's the only way we're gonna get through this. We have to stay inside. We have to do the social distancing. It's the only way to stop this from spreading right now. Until we find a vaccine for this, which may be a little longer than we all hope and expect, but I'm doing my part. I hope you guys are doing your part. Adversity is gonna hit us all. We just gotta bond together, stay together, believe together, and we're gonna get through this all together. I truly believe that. We just have to stay in the fight, my people. Todavía yo te quiero, mi gente.
Dr. Zega here, proud superintendent of the Woodbridge Township School District. When we began distance education 7 weeks ago, we weren't sure exactly how everything would work out. We were sure, however, that we have a dedicated professional teaching staff and support staff. We have wonderful parents and students who work hard and have continued to work hard to get through our school closure. So I'm not surprised when I look online and I look at the assignments that are being assigned and the work that's being submitted by our students at all grade levels, that it's truly outstanding work, and it's really something that we are all proud of, how everyone came together and put this whole project together. We have nearly 14,000 students in our school district. Each one of them receives a wonderful education every day from our teaching staff, from our support staff. So we want to thank everyone, continue the great work that you're doing inside and outside of the classroom. Another reason to be proud of all of the fundraising efforts and all of the emotional support that our students and community has provided for each other. So thank you all, you're making us all proud, continue the great work, and hopefully we'll be back together soon. Have a great day.
Wow, if that doesn't get you choked up, I don't know what will. It's just amazing to see how education has changed during this time. And yet the spirit of the children and the love of the teachers just keeps shining through. Well, let's take a short break and come right back for sports. Welcome back to The Bridge, and thanks for joining our sports segment. Today we have an interview with state champion wrestler John Poznansky and his coach Dan Grasso from Colonia High School. They joined me on Zoom. Let's watch. We have here today state championship wrestler John Poznansky and his coach Dan Grasso. Thanks for coming on the show, guys.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you. Yep.
Yeah, John, welcome to The Bridge, and congratulations on your state championship win. We're just so excited to have you here today.
Thank you. Thank you.
And Coach, thanks so much. You helped them get there, so thank you so much for being a part of this and being on the Zoom with us today.
Sure.
So, John, when did you begin wrestling? When did you know that you want to be a wrestler?
I started wrestling when I was 6 years old. My dad signed me up for a Woodbridge rec program, and then ever since then we just been continuing for a very long time until we got here. Awesome.
And did you ever participate in any other sports, or has wrestling always been like the best?
Yeah, I played t-ball when I was little. I played Pop Warner up till 7th grade. High school, I just wrestled. I like to get in the weight room a lot too, so that's counted as a sport.
Staying in shape, that's great. Mm-hmm. And now, Coach, how long have you coached John? How long have you been a coach for John?
Well, John, I've coached John for 4 years when he came in when he was a freshman. And okay. I've been at Colonia High School since 2001, so yeah, quite a few years.
Oh, that's great. And when did you recognize, the talent, the exceptional talent that John had? Was it right in the beginning?
Yeah, right away. John doesn't really do anything half speed, and as soon as he came in, he was right at the top of the amount of talent and the kind of wrestler we want at Colonia High School. And right away, led by example. Like a lot of times freshmen doesn't come in and do that. Like right away, John came in and he was a leader. I mean, right away, like kids watching him during practice and saying, how do I get like that? And I said, just watch him practice. It was,
That's great. Yeah, I can tell already what a leader he is. So, John, when did you realize that, hey, I might win the state championship? Like, did it just kind of hit you, or like were you kind of focused on that the whole time?
I mean, since freshman year, since 8th grade, really, that was a goal of mine. Maybe I wanted to win it more than once in 8th grade. That's what I was thinking. But once my junior year came, it really settled in when I made the finals. And then my senior year that was the main goal.
That was the goal. That's amazing. And what was that moment like when you won? Like, how did it feel?
It was just a feeling like no other. When I ran out there, at first I didn't hear or see anybody, and then once I got my hand raised, I looked around. Then I heard everybody, and I felt everybody, and it was just a great feeling.
That's awesome. And who was around you? Family, friends?
Well, first person I hugged was Coach Grasso. And then I went over to my mom, my club coach, and Coach Anthony Mesner. And then when we got in the back, it was all my family, all my coaches, and everyone that was part of that.
That's awesome. What an amazing feeling. I'm sure your family was just ecstatic. And Coach, how did it feel? What was that feeling like?
I mean, crazy. Like from 364 days before that happened, we lost in the state final. And, John really put his blinders on, set his sights on, we got to get this done. And coming from that, hurt behind Boardwalk Hall to all the way to the top, it's, no better feeling.
That's great to see the different perspectives from all around the mat. It's great to hear.
He was also the first match of the state final, so there was no time to sit around and wait.
Right.
They did the parade of champions and introduced John, and we were on.
Wow, so no time to think about it.
There was no sit around time.
Yeah, just get out there and do it, man.
Oh yeah.
Now, John, how are you staying in shape now that we're kind of like in this isolation time? What are you doing to stay in shape?
I built a little gym in my garage. My dad and I gathered things up, and I just been lifting in there. I've been running, trying to stay in shape, and just best I could do right now.
That's great. Awesome. And how's the distance learning going for you?
It's good. I mean, everything's on the computer. It's not too bad. I'd rather be in school, to be honest, because it's my senior year, but it's good. It's all right.
Yeah, I'm sure that's all of us are feeling the same way. But you're disciplined, so I'm sure that helps a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
That's great. I wanted to mention you've overcome an adversity that is amazing, and you're also paying it forward. Do you want to share a little bit about that?
Yeah. When I was younger, I was diagnosed with a disease called Coats disease, and I lost my eye, and I've been living like that for my whole life. This year, Coach one day got an email from Mrs. Falcone. They live in Verona, and this whole year he's Chase. His name is Chase. Him and his family have been like in our corner, supporting us the whole year, and it's great to give back. Wow,
that's great. You're doing an amazing thing for somebody and paying it forward. That's just great, John. And thank you, Coach.
It's a great situation. Like the kid, he's been to a few of our home matches. He was at the GMC final. He was at the districts and the regions in the states. Like they took some time out and followed John, and they become just a part of our Colonial Wrestling family at this point.
That's amazing, and just an inspiration and leading him forward. That's great, John. And thank you, Coach. So, John, what's next for you as an athlete and a student?
Next year, I'll be at Rutgers University. I'll be wrestling for them, and then I'll be taking up sports management.
Excellent. Well, John, you're an inspiration to so many people. I've just met you, and you've already inspired me. So, thank you, John, and on and off the mat, that is. So thank you so much. And and Coach, you're definitely welcome. And Coach, just keep bringing out the best in people. You're doing an amazing job, and look what you've done with John, and you continue to do with all the students and athletes. So thank you, Coach, for your dedication to Woodbridge.
Thanks so much.
Yeah. And thank you for watching The Bridge Sports. We have to take a quick break, but come right back as we transition from athletics to arts with our music segment. So we're back with The Bridge, featuring music in the time of distance learning. Our music and arts teachers really play a significant role in this distance learning situation, offering outlets for creativity and expression, while students are dealing with many emotions in a time of isolation, and many have gone above and beyond to reach their students. While there are so many examples of exceptional instruction, today we are going to feature 2 elementary music teachers who are expanding their vision by creating exceptional instructional videos for their students. First, Brian Chesney, an instrumental music teacher at schools 4 and 5, 29, and 26, has created ensemble videos to help his students practice with a full band. Check this out. Wow, that was so neat. I'm sure those kids are amazed to see their teacher playing all those instruments at the same time. What fun. Next, let's take a look at Mark Filaramo, a general music teacher at Ross Street School, who has created videos to help students practice rhythm as well as to learn music theory.
I'm gonna show you something easy that will really clarify. Learning notes on the step. Just hold your hand high, have your palm facing you and your thumb to the sky. Now spread your fingers out and we'll give it a try. You see your pinky's at the bottom line, we call it an E. Then your ring finger's next, we will call it a G. Moving up to the middle line, we call it a B. Now your index finger points to the note we call D. Finally, in the treble clef, our thumb on top we call an F. E-G-B-D-F, E-G-B-D-F, E-G-B-D-F. Line notes, line notes. Now in between your fingers you can see there's a space. Use your pointer on your other hand to go in this place. You can move it through your fingers like you're sewing in lace. This one's easy to remember since it spells out face. F is in between the pinky and the ring space. A is in between the ring and the middle space. C is in between the middle and the index space. E is in between the index and the thumb space. You see, space spells face, space spells face, space spells face, space notes. F-A-C-E, 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 space notes. Space notes. Now keep your fingers out and say without a doubt, this is what it's all about. Come on, let me hear you shout. E-G-B-D-F, 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 line notes, line notes. E-G-B-D-F, 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 line notes, line notes. Space spells face, space spells face, space spells face, space notes. Space spells face, space spells face, space spells face, space notes. F-A-C-E, 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 space notes. Space notes. F-A-C-E, 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 space notes. Space notes. Now put it all together, staff notes. 'Cause now I know all of my staff notes.
That was exceptional. He really went all out, combining music with graphics and text. This is a great example of teachers whose instruction will be impacted well beyond the distance learning format. Great job, Mr. Filoramo and Mr. Chesney. Thank you for your hard work and creative ideas. And thanks to all of our students, staff, and parents for your hard work and ingenuity during distance learning. Thank you for watching The Bridge. I'm Darren Soretto signing off and looking forward to having our Bridge staff out in the schools, in our studio, and meeting in person again. Until then, stay safe, be well. Join us next time on The Bridge.